What's up, everybody? Good morning. Philly with John Marks on PHLY. If you're watching live, yes, 8 o'clock on a Wednesday morning. As always, Philly with John Marks brought to you by Bet Parks and Central City Toyota. Lot to talk about on the show today. And on Wednesdays, and I don't know if it's going to be strictly and specifically on Wednesdays, but right now it is. Joining us every Wednesday from blackgritty.com is Black Gritty, and he joins us here this morning. Black Gritty.
Black Gritty and Johnny in the mornings. I'm working on it. Johnny Marks, can I tell you, Johnny Marks, I have made it. I don't know if I can really come back here on Wednesdays anymore because I'm kind of like a big deal now. I am getting fan art sent to me in the mail, my dude, and so I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep being here. Somebody made this for me. This is awesome. It's got the Eagles fight song on. I got my own Lombardi, and my beard is green. And
why are you wearing lipstick?
See, that's the thing. So I did thank them, and I said the lips look a little big, and they're like, I don't know, the lips look just as big. I felt some sort of way about it, but what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Art, interpretive art. You know what I mean? It is what it is, Johnny Marks. It is what it is.
It is, because if you look at my Nick Foles tattoo on my back, it's not supposed to be like an exact resemblance of Nick Foles. It kind of looks like James Spader, depending on what angle you're looking at it. But yes, I can understand that. All right. Well,
hold on. Wait. I thought of you the other day. I saw somebody had Go Birds shaved in their back. They had the hair removed.
I saw it too.
The only hair that was left was Go Birds. That was hilarious.
Yeah, it's great. I was looking. Someone sent me the video of me getting the Foles tattoo as I did it live on the air.
Yeah,
and it's like,
times.
Man, that's what I look like with my shirt off. Pasty white skin, hairy back, no definition in the back. And I was
before
literally,
beach season.
It's horrible. I can't believe I did that. All right. Well, Black Gritty, a lot to talk about with the Eagles, a lot to talk about with a lot. We're going to have a lot of fun today. I wanted to start off with this quickly. You know how, is it like this every year that it's this windy out? Or is this just specifically this year? Dude, it has been so freaking windy this year.
It's this year because it's moving me around. I'm a big dude. When it's pushing me around, it's windy. So right. It's something new going on right now.
Well, I was on Monday, so I get here early, park the car, come up, and then pretty much as soon as we're done at 9 o'clock, I'm leaving because I got to go get my daughter or whatever. And I didn't notice it right away. I didn't notice it till later in the afternoon. But I walked outside to my car and I'm like, what the bleep is that? And I look, you have the picture, Tyler, we can put up there. And I'm like, wow, my car got smoked by a car door. So here's what I'm thinking happened. Because this actually happened. This happened I had my mom in the minivan. We were picking up my daughter at nursery school. And her door flew open. It hit the car next to us. It was like a little ding. And there was somebody in the car, so they heard it, and obviously they're like, oh, and I'm like, all right, well, here's my number. It was a little minor ding. Minor ding. Look at this freaking thing. So what I'm thinking happened was the car door flew open, and you can see there's paint on there. Flew open and nailed it. That's like a foot.
Yeah.
And there's a smaller dent that you can't see that's a little bit up more. Did they hit me with their car?
They probably hit you with your car.
You think that's from a car?
Where's that on the body of the vehicle?
It's on the passenger side driver's. Well, it's in the driver's side back door. Or is it on? Hold on, I have another picture in here, but it's the driver's side of there. I park facing the building, and if you come in the parking lot, you'd be turning in to see my driver's side. If you were the natural move would be to pull in and then park on my driver's side based on where I park and how you enter the parking lot. So it would make sense that it got hit there.
Yeah, it's probably somebody's door.
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I was just thinking this morning, did they maybe hit me with their bumper?
I was gonna say either that or they're in a truck or a higher up SUV. Because for it to be that high up on the body and not mess up the rest of the body, you know what I mean? It would have. That's where it would have to be the front bumper or the rear bumper backing in or pulling out. Either way, it sucks.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going outside, and I'm going to see if there's any cars. After I'm done, I'm going to see if there's any cars down there that have any damage or whatever that would fit that. Because Guess what? We work in this big building. I'm sure they pay a bleep ton of money for rent. They don't have cameras on the parking lot. There's a big parking lot that they pay people to park here hourly or whenever. They don't have one camera. This is 2025. You don't have cameras on the parking lot?
Well, they got cameras now because it says that's how they're enforcing the parking thing, right?
That doesn't mean they have it. It's like that's the people that put the sticker on their front door that says that, like they have
surveillance.
There's no surveillance. I don't know, but I'm pissed. So I'm gonna contact the building. I'm gonna be like, listen, if you don't have cameras, that's embarrassing. Go get yourself 2 Ring cameras and put them up there. Because there's been cars broken into in this parking lot. This isn't Bel Air that we work in. Black Critty. Are you kidding me? You can't have, the crime easily happens. It's already happened in this parking lot. Oh, I'm so annoyed.
Johnny Mark's going to be out there with a CSI kit. Do you check paint swaps?
If I think I found the car that did it, I'm going to bluff them. I'm going to find out whose car it is. I'm going to go from business to business in this room. I'm going to tell them, listen, I'm going to look in security cameras. Did you hit my car? I'm going to bluff them. Bro, that's not a $250 put some touch-up paint on there and it's good. That's a big freaking dent. Oh, I'm so annoyed.
I had 2 teenage girls hit me in the parking lot of the mall. I was in the car. My windows are tinted, so nobody can ever see me anyway. But they hit the car, backed out, pulled back in, and before I could even get out, they hit me again. She couldn't drive. I got out, and I'm like, what are you doing? And the girl instantly started crying, and her friend was like, she just started driving a week ago. I'm like, license, I don't care. Insurance, call your dad. I was like, call your dad. Like, call someone right now. And her dad came out or whatever, and everything got handled. But I'm like, bro, you hit me twice. Like, first of all, when you hit somebody, I would have pulled off and went to park somewhere else. But they hit me, tried to pull back in, hit me again. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
We've all somehow been a part of it, whether we did the Denton or whatever at some point. All right. So the big Eagles story right now, and it's actually obviously we love the Eagles season and they just won the Super Bowl. Life can't be better. But the NFL offseason, I would say, is better than the NBA, their season, the NHL, their season. And I'm a big Phillies fan, so I'm not going to say over the Phillies or whatever. But the NFL offseason is a big deal. Free agency is a big deal. When you look at ratings, when you look at radio ratings, when you look at how many people are going to be listening to us and watching us on PHLY, numbers are going to go through the roof when it comes to free agency, when it comes to the NFL draft or whatever. And the Eagles have real decisions to make in free agency with their own guys, right? So there's the big 4, and then there's Darius Slay and some other guys. But so yesterday I found the projections for the big 4 free agents, courtesy of Spot Track. So it's and there's a couple different places that do the projections. Let me give them to you because I think Tyler's on the same page as me. Tyler is on the same page as me that Zack Baun seems like the most realistic play for the Eagles to make. And also, I don't think they can afford to lose Zack Baun based on the impact he had on the defense. I think Milton Williams is a good player. Zack Baun and what he brought to this defense last year, they haven't had a linebacker like that in a really long time. And they don't have a healthy linebacker on their roster that's a starter.
And Zack Baun's not going to be that expensive. So
correct. All right, projections. Milton Williams, 3 years, 36. And the contracts are nonsense, but that's probably because that's 12. That's probably $25 million guaranteed at least. Because they'll guarantee the first 2 of the 3, and usually they go in the guarantee money into the 3rd. I think that's a little bit light for what he'll get. But
he's not going to be here. He's going somewhere else. Someone's going to offer way more money than that.
So you agree that he's not likely to be back?
Yeah, he's gone. He was the one you would keep over Sweat because he's younger. But everything that you would tell me of why you would want to keep him and pay him is why someone else will pay him more than we would pay him.
Agreed. Yeah, I think I think the Eagles would bring him back at the right price, but there's going to be somebody out there. I think that's light to say he's going to get 3 for 36.
Yes.
Josh Sweat, 3 for 56. $18 million a year. Which, all right, I could see that. Eagles aren't signing him. I think Sweat's the least likely. I think Becton's the least likely to come back, and Sweat is their number 2, least likely to come back.
I think Becton's actually going to come back. I think Sweat's gone also.
You're going to have to explain that one to me. All right, so Sweat's gone. Zack Baun, 2 years, 19.5. I think that's maybe a little bit light, Because again, a lot of these times these contracts are nonsense anyway. But as far as like how much money per year and guaranteed money, I think that's what you're looking at with Zack Baun. And I'm bringing him back priority number one.
Before the Super Bowl, he was projected at $7 million. I had him capped out at $10 million, so that's like perfect. He doesn't deserve more than 10. He's not going to get more than 10 anywhere else. His age and he's our player. I'm just going to say on record, he's a 1-year Superman. So nobody else is going to go out there and go crazy for him. So 10 would be his cap for me, and we can afford that.
And then Mekhi Becton, 4 years, $40 million, almost $41 million. And so you think that Becton comes back? I don't think there's any way that Becton comes back, because I don't think the Eagles will pay a fifth offensive lineman that kind of money. That slot in the offensive line, especially now, because on defense, you're going to have to go out and spend a little bit of money to either you're keeping some of your guys, Sweat or Milton Williams, or you're going to have to go out and you're going to have to sign a veteran. They don't have anybody on the line. They don't have depth on the defensive line. So at the very least, you're going to have to go out and you're going to have to spend some money to bring some guys in. So that means that if you're doing that, you're going to have one of your spots on the offensive line to be a guy. You get the next Mekhi Becton, a veteran that comes in on a 1-year contract. You're drafting an offensive lineman that can start at guard. Steen maybe becomes that guy who's the starter. I just find it very hard to believe that they're going to bring Becton back at free agent money. But go ahead, state your case.
I don't ever like to do the game of hometown discount, but there is something to when you hear his story and you hear him talk about what he went through with the Jets and how his career was turning out and the way he feels about the Philadelphia Eagles and the way he feels about Stoutland. If anybody was going to take a hometown discount, it would be that man, because he knows he can go somewhere else and get money and then get cut. And then where's your money coming from? So would you rather stay with a team that's not only developed you, but protects you because the line's so good and you don't have to be Superman? Or would you rather go somewhere else, they force you to be a tackle, and then you become the rebus that you were before because you're on a bad offensive line with somebody who needed you really bad and overpaid you to come do it? I feel like if anybody was going to take the hometown discount, it would be that big fella right there, because he now knows what life is like on the other side. And sometimes the grass is greener. Hargrave found out the hard way. I think Becton is, like I said, I don't know if he will, but he's the only one I feel like in my heart that I can say that, hey, take a hometown discount, guy.
Yeah, but Hargrave had, and by the way, this portion of the program brought to you by Glatt Hair Restoration, glatthairmm.com, 610-980-4000. I mean, Hargrave went to San Francisco. They went to a Super Bowl. It's not like that he went there and it ruined his career. He got a ton of guaranteed money. But think about this. Vaitai went to Detroit after the last Super Bowl. He had success there. It was a good signing by Detroit. He got big money. That didn't kill his career. And the tight ends that left, right? Like, who was I can't even remember the Philly tight end that left. Like,
Trey Burton.
Trey Burton. Thank you, Tyler. Trey Burton. Yeah, like that didn't necessarily work out for Trey Burton. You know what did work out for him? The money he got from Chicago, right? Like, if Mekhi Becton's offered a $40 million contract, he gone. Eagles aren't coming close to that. The Eagles are not going to sign him for a big money contract. They can't afford to. It's too much.
Like I said, if anybody's going to take a hometown discount, it'd be him. We're going to see. Like I said, it doesn't matter either way. They're going to get replaced. I'm not worried about losing anybody, honestly. The defensive tackles, they could both leave for all I care. Because the thing that I hate the most is no one brings up Carter. Like, oh, Sweat should have deserved MVP. Why? Because he's beating his man one-on-one. Jalen Carter's taking on a double team every single snap. So all three of those guys got to eat because they took on one-on-ones and beat one-on-ones. Like, wow, cool story. Like, it's so ridiculous. All these analysts that read all 22s. Like, are you not looking at the dude taking on double and triple teams with Kelsey trying to chip off the side? And, Sweat's killing it. Guess what? Anybody who sits next to Carter is going to look like Sweat or Milton if they're worth a salt, unless your last name's Huff. So,
no doubt, brother.
Replace everybody.
Zack Baun would be I would worry about replacing Zack Baun.
Yes.
Because the Eagles have struggled. They've struggled with that position over the years. I'd love if they were able to go out and draft a linebacker, and he's awesome. Now, unfortunately, Nakobe Dean got hurt. And I still don't like him as my number one linebacker.
And that's the other thing, too. Him coming back off an injury, you need stability there. And you've already got it. He knows the system, and Vic loves him. He loves Vic, so he's got to stay.
Yeah. One last name. Kenny Gainwell's projected $1.6 million. Are you bringing Kenny back? I mean, it's almost like a veteran minimum. Kenny's Gainwell, 1 year.
Somebody's going to pay Kenny more than that.
Tyler said the same thing earlier in the week. I don't know what you guys are smoking to think that Kenny Gainwell is going to get a big contract from anybody.
I said bigger than that. Bigger than $1 million, bro.
1.6 million.
Kenny Gainwell can block. He can run. Like, he's a good serviceable back. Everybody complained last year, why you keep giving Kenny Gainwell the ball? And then you look up at the end of the year and like, oh, wow, he's averaging 4 point whatever, and he blocks like the Dickens. I don't know. He's a good serviceable back. Like, he's not a number one, but he'll get a number two somewhere else on a committee and get more than $1 million.
I would bring him. I like Kenny Gainwell. I would bring him back. The Eagles like him. I think he's going to come back. But I mean,
even if he took $3-4 million, the same thing you said about everybody else. Like, if somebody's offering me triple and it's $3 million, I'm out.
I would be shocked. I would be shocked if he got $3 million a year. But we will see. All right, there you go. Other Eagles note. So it seems like they're going to have their offensive coordinator situation, you would think, taken care of over the next couple of days here. Black Gritty, as Kevin Patullo looks like he's going to be the guy. Doug Nussmeier has left the Eagles to become the Saints offensive coordinator. So the way I read the situation is, because it was put out there that the Saints were interested in Patullo being the offensive coordinator down there. That gave him leverage. So essentially the Eagles would have to say, hey, either we offer you the job here or we're going to lose you to the Saints, right? And it's probably what happened. They probably said, okay, we'll offer you the job here. Otherwise, you're going to leave. Nick Sirianni probably flexed because he, they won the Super Bowl. So Howie's not going to say, no, we're going to go outside the organization and hire somebody. And by the way, who the hell's outside the organization they can hire at this point? Not a lot of great coordinators with experience out there. So maybe you're bringing a senior offense. Is Marty Morningweg available to be a senior assistant to come in? And then anyway. I don't like it, but it seems like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. And now I'm blanking on his name. It's driving me. Leftwich. I would have took Leftwich over him. I would have took that's somebody with experience on a Super Bowl team with Tom Brady. Like I would have taken him night and day. Like having one of Nick's buddies. And again, I'm trying to be a Nick guy now, but I mean that just seems like a recipe for disaster. And the way that the guy talks, like. Anyway, I do not like it. I am not happy.
Yeah, no, because we've seen how this doesn't work before.
Yeah.
We've already seen this in action. Now, maybe Patullo is the second coming of young John Gruden. I don't know. And
and when the team does quote unquote well, because the team has a good offense and good foundational parts, then somebody else is going to come poach him anyway. Like, well, I mean, someone's going to come and take him.
One of the things that I said was, well, how come this dude hasn't been a hot commodity before? Yeah. I never heard him in any type of interviews or anything like that. I mean, you see all these young coaches that come from the Sean McVay tree. They're starting to get like interns are getting offensive coordinating jobs and head coaching jobs. They're not even experienced. They're in their 30s and stuff. This Patullo guy, I mean, I'm sure he's fine or whatever. I don't know. I don't like the idea of it. I don't. But that's where it seems like it's going.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Tyler, you can jump in on this too. So when these coaches are getting hired, do you consider this the Nick Sirianni tree? Because someone tried to post that to me the other day. They're like, well, look at his tree. All of his people could get hired. I'm like, what do you mean? The defensive coordinator, he doesn't coach defense. He's a Vic Fangio disciple. I'm like, you just lose Moore. Moore is a Cowboy, a Charger. Like, it's not the Knicks. Like, what do you mean the Nick Sirianni tree?
All right, let me ask you this: Is Sean McDermott off the Andy Reid tree? He is, and he's a defensive guy, but he's off the Andy Reid tree. Now Andy fired him, and he had to go somewhere else to be a defensive coordinator. I view him as the Andy Reid tree.
I don't like that. That's like me. I don't consider when you're an offensive guy, I don't consider the defensive guys your guys. Like Mike Tomlin, like it's the Mike. That's the thing when you're when you're a CEO coach, but everybody still knows you run something. When you talk about the Steelers defense, you say the Mike Tomlin defense. I don't even know who their coordinators are. I just know it's a Mike Tomlin
Never matters,
defense.
Yeah.
So when I hear Andy Reid, I know it's an Andy Reid offense. It doesn't matter. When I hear Sean McVay, it's a Sean McVay offense. So when people are sitting there and again, I don't know who Sean McVay's defensive coordinators are. I don't know what the tree is for defense. I would never do that, to be honest with you. You just asked me and I thought about it for a second. No, I would not consider that part of his tree. That's not what he does. He hires people, they go handle their business. So no, it's not part of the tree. If you're an offense coordinator, you have offensive people. And again, Nick's tree are people that are from other, I don't know.
It's Steichen's off the Sirianni tree.
There you go. Steichen's off his tree. He's got one leaf off the tree, or branch, whatever it is.
Hey, I thought you were trying to.
that.
Tyler, he says he's trying to be a Nick guy, but you can tell that he's not a Nick guy.
So,
he's trying to be a Nick guy.
I was trying to look up to see what Andy Reid's tree was, to see like where the branches kind of go, and so I don't like. So I think what BG, what your point is if you're an offensive head coach, only your offensive coordinator, your quarterback's coach, your receivers coach, those are your tree guys. It's not your D-backs coach. It's not your okay. So if that's the case, if you're talking about Andy Reid's tree, then McDermott doesn't fit the bill. Rivera,
but hang on, McDermott does, because McDermott was a coaching intern. Andy hired him when he was out of college. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, I get it. Like, is Jonathan Gannon off the Nick Sirianni tree? No, probably not. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? But I would consider McDermott. But go ahead, Tyler.
So the only offensive coaches for Andy Reid that have gone on to become head coaches directly are Matt Nagy and Doug Peterson. If that's the case,
Morningweg, Childress. I mean,
I'm talking about the top. Well, I guess Childress was a top coordinator
John Harbaugh.
too. Yeah.
John Harbaugh's on the Andy Reid coaching tree.
Well, and that's what I'm asking is he was a special teams coordinator here. Does he fit the mold of? So I think it becomes a slippery slope of this guy is, this guy's not, if you're only considering the side of the ball in which the head coach favors, right? So like, is Nick Sirianni favors an offensive side of the ball? Does a Christian Parker eventually, if he becomes a head coach, type of like, is that a Nick Sirianni tree guy? You know what I mean?
I get it. Like Ray Rhodes was never considered a Bill Walsh coaching tree guy because he was with the 49ers. He's defensive coordinator.
So what I'm going to do now is just Ty, I want to come in here with stat. I'm put a caveat of there's got to be a time period. I'm going to figure out whatever time period works in my favor, and I'm going to say if you're under that coach for 3 to 4 to 5 years, then yes, you're under his tree.
I think that's a fair point too, because like Todd Bowles, for example, was with the Eagles for 1 season under Andy Reid. Todd Bowles becomes a head coach later with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Is he part of that tree?
He's not a.
He was also a head coach before that. I mean, each situation is different. But if you like John Harbaugh coached under Andy Reid for a decade.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what made me think when he said Harbaugh. I'm like, okay, I got to put a caveat, like a 5-year window. If you're under the coach for 5 years, offense, defense, special teams, you are under the tree because you've learned from that coach. You're here for a year, a hot cup of coffee, and now you're part of his tree.
All right, Tyler, do you have a piece of paper and a pen? Can you actually make a tree and start with Big Red on the top, and we can determine what and BG, you need to do a Sirianni tree. It might only have one leaf.
Who's Andy Reid under? I can't remember his name right now. The mustache, the guy looked less like him.
Holmgren.
There.
Holmgren has a real tree. He's got Gruden,
Holmgren has a real tree.
Andy Reid.
Yes.
Yeah. He's got Bill Walsh had the tree because Holmgren was on the tree. Andy Reid's got a tree.
Those are trees to me.
Listen, I know about trees, man. I know about trees. We're late for this. Coming back, Tyler has a really heartwarming story regarding an Eagles jacket. Yes, an Eagles jacket. Heartwarming. Wait till you hear this. That's next. Philly. Don't go anywhere. 2-2. We're back after this. All right, Central City Toyota. I actually talking about my car getting dinged up. So next Wednesday, because Wednesday's the day that I have some fluxibility to go do some stuff. I'm going to have to go up, see Uncle Jamie at Central City Toyota because I need servicing. Car needs the oil change. Tires rotated. Fluids. Blah, 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 everything else, right? So Central City Toyota. But also, they have a body shop with the Paul Brothers Body Shop. So hopefully he's going to buff that sucker out, maybe get the dent out or whatever. But that's Central City Toyota. Whether you're looking for parts, whether you're looking for service, whether you're looking for a new car, a certified Toyota, they have everything that you need. And it's my uncle. My Uncle Jamie's worked there for 30 years. Yep. So they've been in the heart of University City on Chestnut Street for 55 years. You know what that means? They run a hell of a business. So if you're looking for new, you're looking for a certified Toyota, you're going to get your car service, you work in Center City and you hate going to wherever, the dealership on a Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning, and sitting there and waiting forever. You work in Center City by an appointment basis only at centralcitytoyota.com. They'll come and they'll pick up your car from where you work, go service it, drop it back off. You just go to work, you come back out. It's all taken care of for you. Again, centralcitytoyota.com for all of that, for all their inventory. Their sister dealership, Ardmore Toyota. Ton of inventory up there. You can get everything they do. centralcitytoyota.com. That's right. All right, Rothman. If you have a major injury, right? Like you're like, oh, man, my knee, I need to go see that. You go to Rothman, right? If you obviously break a bone, the serious injuries, you're going the Rothman, right? So, and for good reason. They are the experts. Hip replacement, knee replacement, all that good stuff. Rothman is, they have the docs. They have the docs that are going to look out for you. The docs that specialize in every body part, right? Like, so it's not just you're going to a guy. It's like, oh yeah, it's your knee. Nope, you're going and seeing a doctor that only deals with knees, that only deals with hips, with everything else. But with Rothman, like with me, I had a frozen shoulder. And like, what do you do? Well, I don't even know what a frozen shoulder was. All I know is that I was in pain and I was losing flexibility and the pain wasn't getting better. Wasn't really getting worse, but I was probably at like a 6 out of 10, a 7 out of 10 when it came to pain. And finally, after, God, it was a long time, but after like a year, I said, you know what? I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. So I went, had an appointment. In one appointment, after I waited over a year, just hoping this thing would get better, diagnosed me with a frozen shoulder, wrote me a script for physical therapy, which I did right there at Rothman in Limerick. And 6 weeks later, I was discharged, and the shoulder's been 100% since. So if have major injuries, okay, obviously go to Rothman. But you don't have to live with lingering pain or you can't play golf anymore because your elbow or your knee or whatever. Check them out, rothmanortho.com/PHLY. rothmanortho.com/PHLY. Hoo-ah. We are back. All right, couple things here before we get back. Tyler's got this really, really heartwarming story regarding the Eagles and the parade and a Eagles jacket. But now the football season's over. I saw Jan Janssen of WIP, John Johnson, put up this poll. And he said, with the football season over, what will you turn your primary focus towards? Philly spring training, Eagles offseason, Flyers, or Sixers? Sixers garnered 3.6% of the votes. And you know what, Black Gritty? And I hate it because the only time I ever talk about the Sixers is when I'm negative, and like I don't even care. Honestly, I don't even care. I would like to sit here and tell you that I'm not watching games anymore. I'm just not. I'm done. I'm going to tune in, maybe passing through or whatever. I'm not going to bang my head against the wall and watch this team lose games. Because you know what? They need to lose games. Joel Embiid does not need to play. Daryl Morey has to go up there and say his knee's fine. We don't think there's any long-term issues. And then Joel Embiid's like, no, I need to have more surgery. It's not fine. Yeah. So I'm out.
I'm watching Sweet Magnolias on Netflix, and I'm watching Invincible on Amazon, and I'm enjoying my week. Sweet Magnolias is such a horrible drama of womanhood, and I feel
what's it called?
To my spirit, Sweet Magnolias. It's about a South Carolina town of just pleasant people. Everybody that breaks up, they just say, "Okay, it wasn't meant to be," and they just leave. There's no arguing. There's no fighting. Everybody's just happy and peachy pie, and the drama is delightful.
A lot of white people on this show.
Oh, there's only 3 black people in the town, my brother. There's only 3 black people in the town. Sweet Magnolias.
Oh, so the woman from Brooke Elliott who was on that, what was that show that she was on? Drop Dead Diva that my wife used to watch is on that. It was a horrible show. This show looks, actually, Rotten Tomatoes isn't bad. Tyler, do you look at Rotten Tomatoes when you're deciding on a movie or a TV show? Do you go to Rotten Tomatoes?
I do, but I don't go for the critic score because I think critics are pompous and pretentious, and they want to make it look like I know more than you about movies. I go to the audience score because I'm an audience, right? I'm part of the audience, and there's certain movies, especially comedy, where I see and they're like, oh, this got 12% on Rotten Tomatoes, but the audience gave it a 70. It's like, yeah, you know why? Because we're everyday people who like to laugh, and sometimes movies are stupid. And they're supposed to be stupid.
And you want them to be stupid.
And you want them to be stupid. And so, like, especially if I'm watching a comedy, I will not go to the critic review. I'll go to the audience score.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I bookmarked it. This is something I could watch with my wife.
Oh, yes. The ladies
this is the type of show that she likes. What's the chick in Paris? What's the name of the show in Paris?
Emily in Paris is my jam.
So
Emily
you like that,
Paris
really?
Is my oh man, I love all those trash shows. I watch everything, and those shows are my favorite. Emily went to Rome this year, so it's half Emily in Paris, Emily in Rome. I can't wait for the next season. Oh my God, it's so good. So good.
Man, Emily missed her flight back to Chicago. She had to spend the holidays at the ski resort.
You know about it too?
My wife binged it. My wife's still on maternity leave. She's been binging shows like crazy, and so that was one of the shows that she just finished binging.
Completely annoying, that show.
I'm single. I'm single, Johnny Marks. I gotta know what the ladies are into, what they tapped into, so I can have these conversations, Johnny Marks. Research.
I enjoy the Hallmark Christmas movies. I'm not going to lie. I watch them. I make fun of them as I watch them. I say, oh, I wonder if they're going to be together by the end of the movie. You can just tell the entire movie before it even happens.
That's literally what Sweet Magnolias is. It's a Hallmark movie in a season, in 4 seasons. Every episode, every week, all of it. Yes, that's what it is. I
don't even need cable anymore. I just watch YouTube. You can find like 2-hour blocks of Cops on there, and ones that I haven't seen before. The problem is because it's not put out by cops, it's put out by losers that just want views that make money off it. So the volume's never completely synced correctly to what they're saying. So it's like an old kung fu theater Saturday morning type thing.
Get him, Johnson. That's awesome.
What was the guy from Police Academy that used to do that? Michael Winslow. What was his name?
Oh, yeah. I haven't watched that in forever either. I haven't watched that in a long time. Man, I should make my kid watch that. She's never watched that. Got me something to do this weekend. See, I don't need football. I don't need it at all. I'm doing just fine.
Jones.
Okay.
Was it Motormouth Jones in Police Academy?
Motormouth Jones.
All right, there you go. All right, so Tyler, we're going to go to Tyler here. So we know what the parade, and you were actually on the air on PHLY on parade day.
I was.
You were at Chickies and Pete's in South Philly. I comfortably watched the parade from home. I DVR'd it. I watched some of it with the kids when they got home from school, and they enjoyed it. I was very happy not to be freezing my butt off down there, my tuchus off down there.
It was jam-packed. I did my best cousin impression. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Philadelphia. Good morning.
All right, so Tyler, what is this story about an Eagles jacket? It actually this seems like a story that Black Gritty could turn into a situational comedy or to a rom-com.
Yeah, this is
type movie.
This is a really cool story. So this was a tweet. Excuse me while I try to frame this. This was a tweet from Francis Patano, and I don't know if Francis is the originator of the story or not, but the tweet comes from Francis, and Francis says, greatest city on earth. And here's the story. It says, I found this jacket at the parade on Friday as I was leaving the art museum. I can't wait to pass this along on the next Super Bowl win. So it's a 90s Eagles starter jacket, and I'll move it around so you can see it. Here you go. It's got the old school Eagles logo, the classic 90 Eagles starter jacket. And inside, duct taped to the inside is a note that says, if found, do not return this jacket. It belongs to you. I found this jacket on the night of the Super Bowl in 2018, and it only felt right to release it back into the world when the Eagles won again. Enjoy the jacket, and I hope you get the opportunity to release it back into the world with another Super Bowl win soon. Go Birds.
Aw, that's so cute. Man.
That is amazing.
So now you just keep passing it down. The Eagles. How many years until the next Super Bowl? 1 year?
364 days.
Yep.
Okay.
Book it.
All right. Well, see, like me, I wouldn't give the jacket I would just keep it. I wouldn't give it to anybody else.
That's why, because you didn't wear a jersey when I told you to. You're just a fun ruiner. You ruin fun and dreams. You can't be trusted. Unless it's a bet. That's the only thing you do. You honor bets, but everything else, you're just a dream killer. Killer, Johnny Marks.
I apologize. It's true. All right, so check this out. And by the way, subscribe at allphly.com to get PHLY Daily. Rich Hoffman Jr. does a great job every morning compiling all the stories, everything you need to know. It is a true Philly sports page sent right to your email. Allphly.com. Also at allphly, merchandise. And I saw there was a St. Patrick's Day themed PHLY T-shirt up there. There you go. Oh, look at that.
Kiss me, I'm a champion.
Yes. There you go. Available right now, allphly.com. Thank you, Tyler. All right, so you know what happened after the Eagles signed, after the Eagles drafted Carson Wentz, and then they went to a Super Bowl, and they won, even though Carson didn't play in the Super Bowl? A lot of people named their kids after Carson Wentz.
Yep.
I know more than one person. I know 3 people that named their kids after Carson Wentz, 2 boys and a girl. And I make fun of them. I make fun of him because of it, because I'm just like, yeah, but like it's still a good name. And I'm like, okay, but still, you named your child after Carson Wentz. Like you have to accept that you named your child after Carson Wentz. So my mom and my dad, my mom is a dog breeder. After the Phillies won in 2008, she named a litter of puppies after the Phillies in 2008. You had a Jimmy, you had a Ryan, you had a Shane. There was 5 of them, and they all got named. Chase, there was definitely a Chase. There was a Cole, right? So if you're naming your child, we'll start with the child. If you're naming your kid after an Eagle or a member of the Eagles organization after winning the Super Bowl this year, who is it? Because like nobody was naming their kid Doug. Nobody names their kid Doug this day after Doug Peterson, right? Like you're not even a dog's being named Doug. So I don't think a lot of people name their dogs or the kids after Doug. So if you're naming your next, I'm sure you're gonna have more children in the future, Black Ready. Who are you naming them after the Eagles?
If you're an exciting, you name him Cooper. If you're of the Tan descent, you name him Saquon or Sayshawn. That's just pretty.
Cooper's a good one. Cooper
is going gold right now. So here's the biggest thing about that. When in times of your life, you got things that make you happy. There's so many babies born from Valentine's Day. Max Valentine's Day out with the parade, with the NFC Championship, and with the Super Bowl run. There were so many babies being incubated in these last month period.
You're right.
It's going to be on and popping in the Delaware Valley region. And there's going to be so many Coopers on paper, so many Sayshawns, and a lot of Jalen's. Jalen Hurts, Jalen Carter. Jalen's going to be the third one. So those are your top three right there.
I agree with Jalen. I would Tyler, any chance that baby number 2, because it's unisex. You could go boy or girl, Cooper. Cooper DeJean or Cooper the girl.
There is no chance that baby number 2 is happening right anytime soon.
Oh,
we
Cooper Zuli?
We got our hands full of baby number 1.
Well, I'm just saying.
Cooper Zuli?
Cooper Zuli, it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, there is no chance, guys, that baby number 2 is happening anytime soon.
Coop Zoo?
All right, so I have my litter, all right? Because I know you're a big dog guy. All right, Black Ready. So I go Brandon for BG, Nick after Nick Sirianni, Howie. Got to get Howie involved in this. I'm not naming my kid Howie, but I can name a dog Howie.
The dog, yeah.
So you said Saquon. How about Barkley?
Well, Barkley. So did I tell you I was getting 2 dogs?
Yes, you did.
So I told you I wanted to name him Bryce and Barkley. And one of my cousins made me real secure. He's like, so what are you, a white woman getting a Starbucks? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, Barkley. And it made me feel so insecure thinking about calling out my dog's name is Barkley. Now I can't do it. So I'm like, now you made me feel weird. But it doesn't sound as good as Bryce and Saquon. I wanted a B&B.
Can you do, I mean, listen, Saquon's fine. I'm not saying it, but Saquon, they're like, Saquon, get in here. I don't know. It seems pretty forced.
If I name my dog, honest to God, I'd name him Sayshawn. Sayshawn Barkley. Sayshawn. Come here, boy. Sayshawn. That's what I would do if it was near my dog, because that's hilarious. I swear to God, Sayshawn Barkley, the Eagles guy. Sayshawn Barkley.
AJ works. Devontae.
That's a sassy dog's name right there. That dog's got style.
It's got style and it's got attitude. You can't do Dallas because Dallas.
No.
Right. And by the way, Dallas Goedert doesn't have any more guaranteed money on his deal. For everybody that and I saw a comment earlier and we didn't put it up there because I didn't get to it. But it was like, well, you're not going to sign anybody because you're getting Myles Garrett. You're going to get Myles Garrett. Can we stop with this? If it ends up happening, fine. I'll say I was wrong. Don't set yourself up for disappointment. This happened with Juan Soto. I can't tell you how many Phillies fans I saw after Juan Soto signed that was like, Phillies aren't serious about winning. Man, the Phillies have signed everybody and anybody over the last 5 years. They have the second highest payroll in baseball. You were setting yourself up for disappointment thinking the Phillies were legitimately in on Juan Soto. Stop with the Myles Garrett stuff. If it happens, awesome. That'd be great. I don't expect it to happen at all. They have a lot of guys they need to resign. Dallas Goedert has no guaranteed money going forward. He's going to need a new deal, or he's playing on the final year of a contract with no guaranteed money. So
he's playing on a final year of a contract with no guaranteed money. I'm getting a younger tight end. I'm getting another tight end.
It's probably. I mean, Ertz was very unhappy with how it ended for the Eagles, but they did the right thing, didn't they?
Yeah, that's how they do it. And he's injured all the time.
Agreed.
So
he's also a beast, man. He's also a beast. They don't use him. Is it worth paying a tight end that much money if you don't use them? The Eagles don't use them.
Well, you don't use him because he gets hurt for 4 games. And he's back in and he gets hurt for 4 games. Like, it's hard to get in a rhythm where you think about using him. It's really a strange thing. Like, if he just stopped extending his arm all the time, which I know the last time I said that, some people remember every tweet. Guys are like, oh, look at him extending his arm. But every time he gets hurt, it's because he's trying to do that stiff arm and leaves his arm out there, and people fall on it, and he's out for 4 weeks. So I don't know.
All right. Well, listen, coming up, I'm fighting with the dance school. With my daughter's dance school. They don't know I'm fighting with them, but I'm fighting with them.
Dance.
Is it really a fight if they don't know you're fighting?
It is for me.
That just feels like guerrilla warfare. It's just a sneak attack.
Well, I'm not going to say the name of the school, but I'll explain. And I need to know if people think that I'm being ridiculous on the situation. And a Phillies report too. Mr. Philly, Tyler Zulli. We'll talk some Philly stuff coming up as well. Philly, John Marks, PHLY 2-2. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. All right, TrueMark Financial. You know, I love TrueMark, my bank, my credit union. All right. I am a customer. I'm a business customer. I have a personal savings account there. Couldn't be happier. Trooper Road Audubon is my home location. Mary Ellen has taken great care of me. Donna. They've been together for 15 years. They worked together 15 years. All the great people there. They're amazing. And I've been to multiple branches, and you get the same feel every time you walk in, which was, not like, next customer, please. It's like, hey, how are you? Here, come here, sit down. What can we do for you today, right? Like, you really are a member of the family. And right now, if you're looking at your credit card bills and you're saying like, wow, man, I didn't realize I spent that much money over Christmas. Believe me, I'm in the same boat. So you can transfer your balance. I don't pay interest fees. The one thing I don't pay, I move balance transfers around. You can do that right now with TrueMark Financial Visa credit card. Take advantage of this amazing offer by the end of the month, February 28th, 2025. How about this? They're offering 0 interest on balance transfers for 12 months. So all your payments are going towards the balance. You're not paying interest. Visit TrueMark.com/compare for full details and to apply today. TrueMark Financial, federally insured by NCUA, equal opportunity lender. Terms and conditions apply. All loans are subject to approval. 3% balance transfer fee applies. Standard rates apply after the promotional rate. Hooah. Tyler Zulli, who is Mr. Cool.
No, I don't know about that.
Do I have some?
There's your car again, by the way. It's not me. There's your car. I just wanted to rub salt into the wounds while we did this read. Let me tell you about our friends over at Shady Rays. Listen, I am so tired of the cold. I'm sure you are too. But the beautiful thing is baseball is around the corner, and if you are feeling adventurous, maybe you head on down to spring training in Clearwater. And if you do that, then you're going to need your sunglasses because it's going to be bright and warm and sunny in Clearwater, and getting to watch your Phils get tuned up for the 2025 season. And our friends over at Shady Rays will help you get through the crap weather and get in the right state of mind, and more importantly, get the right frame of mind with a pair of premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. They're an independent sunglass company that offer world-class products that are rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people, myself included. And I don't give out rates and reviews all that frequently unless something's excellent or really, really, really bad. And I would not back Shady Rays like this if I didn't believe it. They come in so many different styles, so many different colors, so many different availabilities. You are bound to find the perfect pair that works for you. So listen, if your sunglasses ever take an unexpected hit or they go missing, don't worry about it. Shady Rays has the best protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by their lost or broken replacement program. And the beauty of Shady Rays, sometimes you buy things online and you don't like them as much as you do in person as you did online. Don't worry about it. If you don't love your pair, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them worry-free for up to 30 days. So there is no risk to you when you shop. And listen, PHLY viewers and listeners, go to ShadyRays.com and you will save 35% off a pair of polarized sunglasses when you use the promo code PHLY. Over 300,000 people have rated Shady Rays 5 stars. So use code PHLY today at ShadyRays.com.
All right, thank you, Tyler. All right, so I believe me, I'm not being petty here. All right, I'll explain the situation. People can give me their feedback. I'm interested in what people say in the chats and the comments on this. So all 3 of my girls have went to the same dance school, and it's fine, right? Like, they do a good job, they liked it, and then like the kids get to, they get to a certain age, and like my daughter's like, we don't want to do this anymore. I did daddy-daughter dance with them. They did a bunch of pageants or whatever. I loved the daddy-daughter dance. Really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. But then they're like, we don't want to do it anymore. And my wife's like, well, they want to do it. And I'm like, they say they don't want to do it. Like, what are you talking about? They don't want to do it. So, like, they're not doing it anymore. They're doing sports, right? So my 3-year-old is doing, like, she's got it's a little girl class. They don't even do pageants anymore. You go in once a week. It's more about socialization and starting the process or whatever. And I love it. It's great. She does it. Here's my problem with the place, and I've had this problem before. So they just had winter break for the dance school, which means no classes for like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We go Saturday for the class. So they had winter break. You know what winter break means? That you don't have class, but you're paying for it because we pay monthly. It comes out automatically every month. So we're paying, I'm not going to say how much it is. It's like $91, all right? So we're paying monthly for a month worth of classes, right? And they decide they're having winter break. And it's like, all right, well, you're not refunding me one of these classes because you're having winter break, right? But yet they're having winter break. Now, Black Ready, this isn't one of these things where we have a Thursday class and it's Thanksgiving. Like, all right, well, you miss out. It's a holiday. Or Christmas is on a Saturday, or Christmas Eve is on a Saturday and they're closed, right? So like then I would understand and I wouldn't care. They had this Fugazi winter break. They did the same thing, and I just pulled up the email here right now. They were closed for Yom Kippur back in October, all right? There will be no classes next Friday and Saturday in observance of Yom Kippur. To all our families who observe, we wish you a meaningful holiday, right? So hang on a second, all right? Like, are you telling me that now I'm paying for this, do you be observing Yom Kippur? Are you paying your employees that, and I know you're not, are you paying your employees that are normally working on Fridays and Saturdays doing these classes? Are you paying them? No, you're not. You're just taking our money so you can close for 2 days. Are you kidding me? Yom Kippur you're closing for? If you're Jewish and you don't want to come to your class, don't come to your class. If you have workers who are observing Yom Kippur, then find somebody else to work. Sorry, do restaurants close because it's Yom Kippur? Like, give me a freaking break. They're stealing my money. And this is what really pissed me off about the winter break. They still had events at night on Saturday where it's like, hey, it's a movie night. For $20, drop your kids off and they can watch a movie while they do like dance stuff. It's like, hang on, you guys are closed for winter break and I'm paying for the class that I don't get to do? And you're holding events at the dance school for more money? Like, I'm sorry, man. This is crazy. This is craziness. Winter break my ass. Yom Kippur closed. I want my money. I want my $23 or whatever it is. Oh, my God. Total ripoff.
If you weren't 17 children deep, I'd have empathy for you. This sounds like something in a place that all your children have gone to. And you not being smart enough after your first child to say, you know what? Come Christmas, we're taking the month off. I'm going to save my $91. It's going to cover the Yom Kippurs and the Scooby-Doo days off. And that way, all those days feel free to me because I'm not going to pay you for a day that you shut down. And my kids get a break. In which case, my kids might say, hey, Dad, you know what? I don't like this dance thing. I like having a month off. Let me go do something else. So you, as a parent, having poor planning, can be mad all you want to, sir, but it's your fault.
Yeah, then you got to re-register, and it's $75 for a registration fee. No, I mean, look, to your point, we just got to quit.
Yeah. They are running you through the ringer. Everything you said is right. It's a scam. It's definitely a scam. It's like free money. They're not paying their employees.
Closed for Yom Kippur?
They're not paying their employees. I know they're not.
They're part-time employees that are probably making like $20 for doing the class. And they're not paying them, but they're getting paid. Like that is the ultimate scam. And by the way, like they're I don't know if they watch this show, but the owner's husband listened to me on sports radio, and when found out that my daughter was there, was like, "Oh my God, this is blah, blah, blah." And like, I'm not saying that they're not nice people, but like, give me a freaking break. You're closing for Yom Kippur and you're stealing my money. I mean, like, Jesus, man. And that winter break, bro. Yom Kippur was in the third week of October. Or in February, you're having another break. Like, oh my God. And they'll have a spring break on Easter. They do the same thing. Total ripoff.
Yeah, it seems like every other month they're getting a free weekend out of you. That's what I'm saying, Johnny Marks. You're getting hosed, Johnny. You're getting hosed. You better not have no more kids. You better be like Zuli and zip it up. You know what I mean? Can't have no more Coopers.
I would have more kids if I was younger. I love them, but I'm not younger.
Kids are the greatest.
I'm already looking at 62 when my last one graduates from high school. I can't.
I'm looking at being a grandpa now. I told my daughter the other day, I'm like, you got 10 years to find a husband to have a kid. She started crying. And I'm like, what is it? She's like, that's a lot of pressure. I said 10 years, not 10 days. She's like, oh, yeah, 10 years feels close. I'm like, you're 18. You're 28. Like, you're fine. Just you're fine. I'm looking to be a grandpa next. No more kids for me, Johnny Marks.
Yeah, I know. You're telling you. And you know, I can't wait for the day you're a grandfather. You will be a very jolly, happy grandfather. Oh,
it's going to be the best, Johnny Marks.
All right. Phillies. How jacked up are you for the Phillies season? Because with an offseason that lacked not that they didn't make some good moves, but like, you know, they lost some players. The season ended in disappointment last year. How are you feeling entering spring training there, Black Ready?
Today, I could give a ham sandwich. I could care less. I don't think about them. It doesn't matter to me. Monday, when my brain turns back on, I'm going to be really excited, and mostly for Painter. I was excited for him last year. I have all these hopes and dreams and fantasies about how he's going to be and what he's going to be. And that's the one thing where it's unknown to me, you know, so that excites me. I'm really looking forward to that. Everything else, like, I expect them to be a good team. I expect them to play well. I just really want them to get hot late in the season, not burn out in the beginning of the season. And I hope they figure out the starting lineup and Turner. But I'm happy and I'm excited, but mostly for Painter. That's the thing that's got me all geeked up.
You said Turner's name and I halfway cringed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can even see my eyes kind of being like this. I hope he has a good season. I don't think he's going to be terrible. Get that signing, and you know, there's buyer's remorse. There just is, man.
I got sick when you said they're the second highest payroll, and I'm like, yeah, we wasted $300 million on someone who's disappeared. And again, I don't know if it's the whatever it is. I hope it gets fixed this year. I hope that it's a lineup thing and there's a confidence something and he's finally comfortable. I don't know what it is, but something I hope changes in him and he gets back to, even if he was half as what he was when I thought he was coming here, he's just like 20% of the man he used to be. And that is just unbearable, Johnny Mars. It's unbearable. So just give me like 4 more days and then I'll be right in Phillies mode. I'll be with my powder blues on and I'll be excited.
All right, right now in the BetParks app, to win the World Series, here are your favorites. If you were just as far as how many teams you think are ahead of the Phillies when it comes to their odds, to have the shortest odds to win the World Series.
4.
Go through it. Tyler, you think about that as well. So how many teams are favored to win the World Series before the Phillies? And this is almost like a power rankings. Where would you put the Phillies as far as a power rankings with the odds? Tyler, what would you say?
I would say that there are definitively 3 and potentially a 4th. I would say they're either 4th or 5th in the odds to win the World Series.
I would not have said that. Black Gritty, how about you?
Yeah, so I said 4th.
You said 4th? You're correct. Dodgers are plus 265. Yankees are plus 700. Braves are plus 850. Phillies are plus 1,000. Mets plus 1,100. Astros plus 1,300. So, like, all right, you look at it to win the NL East. Braves are plus 135. The Mets and Phillies are plus 200. So it's almost like a coin flip when it comes to the NL East between all 3. You have 3 good teams in the NL East. They were probably going to beat up on each other. The Nationals aren't going to be very good, and the Marlins aren't going to be very good, right? Are the Phillies really like the second best team in the National League right now, or third best team in the National League? Not the second, the third best team in the National League right now? I mean, I guess. I don't know.
Why not is the question.
Yeah. I still have this bad taste in my mouth from the Phillies the last 2 years. And you're right. I mean, are they better than the Mets this year? I don't know.
Here's what I keep coming back to, John, when we find out that they're like the 4th or 5th rated team in baseball this year. I think that they are going to go into probably about 85 or 90% of the series that they play this year with the better starting rotation. And I'm not talking about 1 through 5. I'm talking about the 3 guys that line up on any given day. You're talking about a team where Ranger Suarez and Jesus Luzardo are your 4 and your 5. That's how good you are in the. Now, granted, you know, you can't predict injury, but the Zach Wheeler, Ranger Suarez, Aaron Nola, Christopher Sanchez, and Spencer Turnbull last year made 130 starts. They posted a 3.17 ERA in those 130 starts. The problem was the other 32 that they got, mostly from Taijuan Walker, were not particularly good. This team won 95 games last year because their pitching was excellent and their offense was monumental at times. And, you know, it is what it is. But I think the big selling point for this team heading into this year and why they're so high on a lot of people's radars is A, the lineup is still good. I know people have fatigue with it, but it's still good. And B, the starting rotation, to me, is the third best rotation in baseball, but has claim to maybe even be 2 or 1.
Agreed. Yeah, I think you guys are right. It's the rearview mirror from last year that's like, damn, again. I mean, we forget about the fact that they were a playoff team and they won a lot of games, and they lost to the Mets. I mean, it's not just that though. The second half of the season, they were a 500 team.
Yeah.
Right. So if they're a 500 team the second half of the season, you had said it earlier. Like, I would almost hope that they start off a little slow and then they get it together and they get hot at the end of the season. It's so difficult to project what happens in baseball. The hot team towards the end of the year is the team. The team that has that chemistry, like the Mets had that special chemistry last year, and they didn't even win the World Series with it. So I don't know. I'm still positive with the Phillies. I'm not trying to be a dick and like be negative with the Phillies. 'Cause I'm not. I love the Phillies, but I didn't realize that they really are one of the best teams in the National League.
Right? Because I understand how you feel, but then when you think about it, it's like, man, and you gave those odds. I'm like, man, I'm about to go put money on them just to maybe not even to go to the World Series. I'm gonna have them going to the championship, and then I'll have them getting there, and I'll make some good coin off of that because I know the odds got to be high on that. So I might go throw a couple shekels on it. I missed them last year. I had a paycheck, Johnny Marks. I had them for 98 wins. And it was looking so good, and I was gonna again retire. I would have never talked to you again, and it just fell short. And I had my one cousin who was with me when I made the bet at the beginning of the year. He was talking trash, and he was the last 2 months. He's like, "They're not gonna make it. Every day they're not gonna make it." I was like, "I hate you so much," because he's a Mets fan. He's a loser, and I lost my
sorry to
$1
hear
billion. It's all right, buddy.
I'm looking at one of the books. Over under 91.5 wins for the Phillies. I had saw one of the, and these guys got to write something different every day down in spring training, but I think it was David Murphy that had said that the headline was, forget about the Phillies, question mark. 2 big reasons they are still a threat to win 100 games. And it's like, all right, I don't see him winning 100 games, but over. All right, I'm going to set the over under at 92 games. Tyler Zuli, over under.
I think I'm going to take the under, but they're going to win 90.
It's right there.
Yeah, I think they're 90 or 91. That's such a right where I'm at is about 90 and a half, 91 and a half.
91 and a half on one of the books I'm looking at.
Yeah, that sounds about right because their staff is ridiculously good. The Braves are better, the Mets are better. The Dodgers are the Dodgers, but they were 5-1 somehow against the Dodgers last year. I think 91, 92 is probably a fair margin for this team.
BG?
I'm taking 93 wins just to be opposite Tyler Zuli, so later on we can come back and say that I was right.
I hope you're right. I'd love to.
I hope
that.
No, it's not about hope. It's just about being right or wrong. It's not that either one of us don't love the team as much. It's just one game difference, Tyler. Just calm down. But I just want to be right on the right side of history. I'm thinking 94 wins, so I'm saying 93 so I can be safe. I have a cushion.
So the last 5 World Series winners, and I omitted the Dodgers in the COVID year because that was the COVID year. Dodgers won 98 games last year. Rangers won 90. Astros won 106. That team was a monster. That's the team that beat the Phillies. That team was a monster.
Team was so good.
Braves won 88. The Nationals won 93 games.
And the Nationals, by the way, were the second worst team in baseball, I believe, at the turn of the June calendar to July.
And they got hot.
And they got really, really hot at the end.
I remember that as well.
It's all about getting hot at the right time. It really does matter.
Sure is. Shout out to everybody that's watching on TV. Appreciate you. Switch on over to allphly.com to watch the rest of the show.
Dodgers are going to try to buck that trend a little bit this year when they win 114 because they're just loaded. They're going to win 105, I think, easy.
Their over-under right here is 103.5.
That's so many wins.
Yeah, but like you said,
under.
And by the way, Padres are good. Padres are good. I think they're a playoff team. There's too much talent during a regular season. They're going to win so many games.
Don't sleep on Arizona either. I think that you bring in Corbin Burns. I think the pitching was the problem last year. They scored the most runs in the second most runs ever.
Yeah, they're a strong contender for a playoff spot for sure. All right, BG. Well, listen, you've been hibernating here this week.
Yep, I'm taking a week off and just trying to reset my brain before I focus on baseball and just basking in the glow, being a champion, commenting on every Chiefs thing I see, every Cowboys post-IC, just living the good life.
So I'm very quickly off of I'm now becoming annoyed with Eagles fans that are being like, oh, look how much better we are than every other city. Look at this picture from a parade. Look at this picture from a parade. Like, all right, just relax.
I don't do that because millions of people show up all the time. And again, I'm not about the size, Johnny Marks. It's about the motion in the ocean. People showed up, great. Clap your hands. Like, I don't need that to make me feel better. What I comment on are the people that are still dogging the Eagles. Well, that offense, that defense, in the beginning of the year, we lost 6 games in a row, and everyone said we were a clown show coming into the season. Now, all of a sudden, we're the super friends and we're the juggernauts. Like, the guys got developed. They got coached up. But all these guys you were talking about were trash pandas at the end of the year. You didn't even know. Angelo said the Eagles weren't going to win 5 games because the meltdown was so bad last year. But now, all of a sudden, it's unfair the way the Eagles. Shut up. That's the stuff I talk about. That's stuff I'm out there commenting on.
All right, BG. Cheap seats tonight?
No cheap seats tonight. Everybody's on a hiatus. E-Rock's down there in Florida on vacation. Ashworth is in a cave somewhere learning how to edit videos. And I'm just over here on a sabbatical enjoying the fact that I made it, Johnny Marks. Just enjoying the fact that I've arrived.
I'd go with a little bit lighter shade for the lipstick, but I'm just saying.
Well, I got to figure out how to get my beard green, and I'll be good to go. I've had a blue for the Sixers. I got to start seeing if I can get a red in, a good red.
We can work it out.
Phillies.
All right, shout out to everybody. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Comment. Appreciate everybody that watches live every morning. All our podcast listeners, audio podcasts. We appreciate you as well. We're back tomorrow live at 8 a.m. Black Gritty, have a good one, man.
Have a great day.
See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.